Hey Smartest, I'm Miss Funk and I'm going to be showing you how to make an Elements of Art booklet. So the first step is folding your paper to make the actual booklet. So you're going to start with this piece of paper. It won't be folded yet, but mine is folded just so I know how to do it. So you're going to fold it this way, like a hot dog. And then once you have it like this, you're going to fold it in half once again. So it's going to look like this. Now the goal is to end up with a nice M shape like this. So the way we do that is once we're at this point, we're going to fold this side this way and this one the other way. So once again, you should have an M or a W, either way works. And now that you have that, you have a fully functioning book that can open both ways. In artwork, a theme is simply the subject matter or the topic of an artwork. So for example, the theme of this book is eyes. The theme of this book is Marie Antoinette. So I want you to just pick one theme. It can be anything really. So pick a fun yet simple theme that you like, and then let's get ready to start drawing. So we're gonna start on our cover page. And you can find your cover page by taking your booklet and opening it up like it's a regular book. You don't want to open it up so that it's the wrong way. You want it to open up just like you would open a book when you're reading it. Now notice when you open up the piece of paper, that one side is right side up and one side is upside down. This is correct. This is the way it should be, because that way when you open it up, everything will be on the correct side, and then when you open it up this way, it's still on the correct side. So now that you've picked a theme and made your booklet, we're going to start on the cover page. Your cover, like most books, should include a title. So for this, it will be Elements of Art and an illustration. The illustration should pertain to your theme. So mine is Marie Antoinette. So we have an illustration of Marie Antoinette on the cover. So once you have your cover completed, you're going to open up your book just like you would a regular book and go to the first page. This is where we're going to put the first element of art. Now the first element of art that we're going to be doing is line. A line is a path moving through space. So for my booklet, I showed line in a few different ways. I varied the thickness of my line, which is also called the line's weight. So you can see I have some really thick lines, and then I have some really thin lines. Then you can show the different ways that a line can look. So we have some straight lines, some squiggly lines, some swirly lines, some kind of cross-stroked lines. So these are all different ways that a line can show itself in an artwork. So be creative and make sure it aligns with your theme. Next, we have shape. Shape is pretty self-explanatory. It's a flat shape, so it would be a circle, a square, a rectangle, anything like that. Now, there are two kinds of shapes. Geometric, which are shapes that have names, and organic, which are these crazy shapes found in nature. So, that's shape. Forms are like shapes, however, they are three-dimensional instead of two-dimensional. So, for example, this would be a shape because you can't hold anything in it. This would be a form because, as you can see, you can put stuff in it, like Play-Doh. So a form is three-dimensional. I decided to make these 3D lines to kind of show like you're in a 3D movie and kind of give the illusion of 3 dimensions. So that's form. Next we have texture. There are two kinds of texture. There's fake texture and real texture. So fake texture, which is really called implied texture in the art world, is when you run your fingers over it, it doesn't actually have real texture. But real texture would be if you run your hands over it and you can actually feel the bumps or maybe the smoothness of the actual texture. So for this, I did implied texture by showing some like bumpy bits right here, some scratchy areas here, and some swirly areas here. Next we have space, which is the illusion that something has depth. So an artist might show space by placing something in the foreground, like right here, in the middle ground, like here, then in the background, like this wall is the background of this whole scene right here. So you can do that, or you can also show space with positive and negative space, which is what I did with my Marie Antoinette. So anything that's colored in is the positive space. Anything that's not colored in, that's the negative space. Next, we have value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So for my value piece, I tried to include as many values as I could. So we have very light values and very dark values. Next, we have the final element of art, which is color. Color is simply the hue of an object. Hue is basically the name of a color. Red, green, pink. So for color, you can just go crazy and include a bunch of different colors, or you can do something else creative. Just show color in whichever way you want to. Now before we finish our book, we're going to go back through each element of art and write the definition underneath. If you run out of room, you can just use the other side of the paper to write the definition. So now that you've completed your book, you should have a cover page and 7 pages for each of the 7 elements of art. You'll be graded on 3 things: craftsmanship, effort, and completion. So make sure each page is completed, that you put in your best effort, and that your book is folded neatly and nicely. Here are the 7 elements of art and their definitions. A line is a point moving through space. A shape is a flat, 2-dimensional enclosed area. Shapes can be geometric or organic. A form is a 3-dimensional shape that has volume, such as a cube or a sphere. Texture is the way something appears to feel. Texture can be implied or actual. Space is the illusion of depth. There can be positive and negative space. Space can also be shown by using foreground, middle ground, and background. Value is the range of light to dark. Color, also known as hue, includes both value and intensity.